Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tep. I'm glad you made it. Let's talk about that final rule from the VA on GERD. Now, they included in IBS a couple other things, but I am honing in on GERD because it is so dramatic. So let's jump into it. This is May 19th, 2024 is when this will be going into effect. This is a pivotal time point for anyone who is either A, thinking of filing for GERD, or already have GERD but maybe at a lower percentage, because if you meet the criteria on the old rating schedule, you better jump to it because that will be going away here in May. So let's jump into it. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. Everybody who does that really helps out the channel a lot, and I really appreciate it. So jumping into it here, the VA has this change. Now, they've talked about it for, I don't know, it's been proposed for a little over 2 years, I believe, the proposed change. So now here we are, and it's actually got an effective date. This is really important. We know what the issue is. The issue is that they've changed the rating schedule, and I'll jump into that in a minute. What you can do about it is file an intent to file now if you think that you are better off with the current rating schedule. Now, I didn't pull it up. I'll just give you kind of the basics of the current rating schedule to go to 60. Now, 60% is the maximum on the current rating schedule. 80% is the maximum on the new rating schedule, but it's completely different criteria on the new rating schedule versus the old. In my opinion, I think that the new rating schedule is purely focused in on a couple symptoms of gastroesophageal reflux disease, and the old rating schedule actually incorporated more of the signs and symptoms of GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. So if you were to file a claim today, or put in an intent to file today for GERD or for an increase in GERD, you would be looking to get a 60% rating. You're basically looking at difficulty swallowing, regurgitation, vomiting, heartburn, potential weight loss, potential blood in your vomit, potential blood in your stool, the pain in the shoulder, pain in the sternum, pain, it could be shooting down your arm. It could also lead to basically a big impairment to your health, meaning that it could erode your esophagus and potentially have esophageal cancer. So if your symptoms are in that kind of boat, you're looking at potentially a 60% rating in today's current schedule, which makes a lot of sense because if any of you out there have GERD, you have all those things. It's difficult to swallow. You have heartburn, you have regurgitation. Sometimes you might vomit a little bit, especially, that middle of the night attack is always horrible. You feel like you're going to die. So anyway, the pain, all of that stuff is all classic signs and symptoms. However, if you look at the new rating schedule, and so there's a couple things. I want you to hang on with me. I'm going to read to you what it takes to get a 50% or an 80% in the current, or not current, the new proposed or going into effect, rather, rating schedule that'll be going into effect in May. I'll read you those top two ratings. Then I'm going to read you an announcement from the VA and see if we can pick out anything else. So stick with me. I appreciate it. Here we go on, I'm looking for it here. Bear with me. I just had it. All right. Esophagus stricter. Okay, so the GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, has its own diagnostic code now. However, the problem is, it's not, whatever, it is what it is. So the diagnostic code is 7206 for gastroesophageal reflux disease. And basically they just copy and pasted the rating schedule for esophageal stricture. So it's exactly the same. So whether you read it on either one of those or you hear either one, they're the same. So with that, let's read the let's read the 80%. So documented history of recurrent or refractory esophageal stricture, tightening of the esophagus, causing dysphagia, difficulty swallowing down food, with at least one of these symptoms present. And it gives you 3 options. So undernutrition, and I don't know what that medically looks like. Okay, I don't know what that looks like in as far as in the medical community. I will say that comments in these processes, and I'm sure that more of you are aware now than ever, when these things go into the Federal Register as proposed changes, the VA opens up a window of opportunity for comments. Comments come in. Undernutrition was not an original part of their proposal. They actually, I believe, were using the word malnutrition. So they changed that because of a comment that came in. So for as much for whatever that's worth, right? I just want you to know that sometimes there are changes. There was a couple other ones too, but that one sticks out to me. So here we go. With at least one of these symptoms present, it has to be one of the 3. Undernutrition is one of them. Aspiration is another, and the third is substantial weight loss, as defined by 4.112 alpha, and treatment with either surgical correction or the PEG tube. All right, so that's what we're looking at as far as my camera's a little bit crooked and it's driving me nuts. It's happened a few times and I apologize. All right, whatever. It is what it is for right now. The next one is 50%. Documented history of recurrent or refractory esophageal stricture causing dysphagia with which requires at least one of the following. Dilation, that's when they drop the line down your esophagus and blow up a little balloon. Okay, so they're dilating your esophagus. So that's one option. Dilation 3 or more times per year. Okay, now I am going to throw in there that if you get it done 2 times in a year, you're at the 30% rating. So if you get it 3 times per year, you jump to 50. So if you're one of those people that get dilated, then if you ever get it 3 times in a year or 6 times in a 2-year period or whatever, get your doctor to write that down on a piece of paper and get that submitted for an increase. All right, so you meet that criteria of 3 times or more per year for dilation. 2 is dilation using steroids at least 1 time per year, or 3, an esophageal stent placement. So any of those 3 add-ons would get you into the 50% realm. Now I want to jump into this announcement from the VA on this change here and share that with you as well. So updates to the VA schedule for rating disabilities. VA updates disability rating schedule for digestive system. This came out March 19th, so just a few days ago. Today, VA announced an update to the VA schedule of rating disabilities specifically pertaining to digestive conditions. The change adds or modifies rating criteria for 55 medical conditions in the rating schedule that incorporate medical advancements for treating certain disabilities and modern medical knowledge to compensate veterans more accurately. The 3 biggest, because some of these things are just, they change a word. So the 3 biggest changes that will impact you as veterans, including the new evaluations for celiac disease, irritable bowel syndrome, and hemorrhoids. Beginning May 19th, celiac disease, an autoimmune disorder that impacts how the body processes gluten, will have its own rating criteria specifically designed to address its disabling effects. Veterans with this condition were previously granted service connection and evaluated by using the rating criteria that ranged from a 0 to a 30%. Now, under a specific diagnostic code, veterans will be eligible for an evaluation ranging from 0 to 80%. So celiac jumps up to 80%, which is fantastic. VA will also adjust the rating criteria for evaluating irritable bowel syndrome, also known as IBS. Previously, VA offered 0, 10, and 30% evaluations for the condition. Under the new criteria, veterans may be entitled to 10, 20, or 30% evaluations based on the frequency of symptoms. Therefore, new rating criteria will always offer a compensable evaluation. Finally, VA addresses the evaluations for both internal and external hemorrhoids. Previously, VA assigned a 0% evaluation if the condition was identified as mild or moderate. For more severe findings, a 10 or 20% evaluation was warranted. With the new rating criteria set in the rating schedule, mild or moderate hemorrhoids will now qualify for the 10% evaluation. Moving on, these are just a few of the changes being made to how conditions of the digestive system are rated based upon medical information, said Undersecretary for Benefits Josh Jacobs. The updates will bring the rating criteria more closely in line with the stated purpose of the rating schedule, which is to provide evaluations based upon average impairment earning capacity for each and every veteran. There will be no change to any veteran's current rating based solely on these updates. If you currently receive compensation for a service-connected condition, you can apply for a compensation increase. A reduction in evaluation will occur only if the improvement in a disability sufficient to warrant a reduction under the former criteria. So in other words, because you were rated on an old criteria, they will hold you accountable and only reduce you if you rate a reduction based on the old criteria. Claims related to those body systems that were pending on May 19th will be considered under both the old and new rating criteria, and whichever criteria is more favorable to the veteran will be applied. So you can go to the Federal Register actually and visit that and to see all of the information. It says here, again, it's just a reminder of all the different body systems and books within the schedule of ratings that they have changed thus far. So the changes are continuing. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.